Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of ATX Good News. We're so glad you joined us today. I'm Leslie Rohde.
And I'm Judy Maggio. Today we're going to do something very important. We want to shine the light on educators and mentors. Those people, unsung heroes who every day are out there working hard to improve our kids' lives. They're watching out after our children and really making a positive difference in the world. They plant those seeds that just blossom throughout those children's lives.
Yeah, it's been really tough on our educators and our parents and children over the last couple of years with COVID, Judy. And there have been a lot of instances where people have really had to step up and show resilience to move on. So we're so proud of all of the work that these educators and mentors and leaders in people's lives, really those influencers in our children's lives. And we want to celebrate those people today. Judy, I know you probably had someone in your life like that.
Oh, I had so many great teachers that just made such a huge impact. I probably the biggest impact was my speech coach in high school, Mr. Thompson, Al Thompson,
Uh-huh.
Milby High School in Houston. And I was on the speech and debate team. And he was the first person who said, "Have you ever thought about broadcast journalism as a career?" And I was like, what? There weren't that many people on TV who were
Yeah.
female in the late 1970s, right? And that really did spark my interest. And I started watching more news and I went, wow, these people have a job that I think I could do and a career that I think I could really thrive in. And that it was, as I said, the seed he planted. And here I am 40 years later. Still do now. Now, Leslie, I know your parents were teachers, right?
Yeah, they actually were. I grew up in a teaching household. I actually went to school and got an education degree myself and became a teacher before I became a broadcast journalist. So I guess it kind of runs in our blood in our family because my sister was a teacher as well. So yes, my parents, I grew up hearing about stories of the classroom every day and hearing about what my parents really admired about the way they could affect people's lives. And it wasn't always easy, but the successes were really fun to live with and see when a child would uh, get through something or overcome something. And my parents really loved and were passionate about being a part of that. So I was fortunate enough to get to see them role model that leadership, not only in at home but in schools. Because probably what you didn't know, Judy, was my mom was a teacher in my elementary school, and then when I moved and went to high school, she became a high school teacher at my high school. And
Oh
then when
boy.
I went to college, my dad was in the administration there. He was a vice president there. So my parents basically followed me around.
They sure did. I'm not sure I would have liked that so much. It's a little too close for comfort.
Yeah.
But we really are. I love that you said role model because I think so many
Uh-huh.
educators and mentors are role models. And we want to start our show today by telling you about a mentor at Big Brothers Big Sisters. Really, mentoring is all in the family for Joe Morales. So we found out about Joe through the folks at Big Brothers Big Sisters. And Joe has a unique perspective on the transformative power of Big Brothers Big Sisters because his daughter is now a big sister. Joe's dad left the family when he was just a little boy. He credits his mom and his big brother through Big Brothers Big Sisters for keeping his life on track and keeping him out of trouble. As an adult, Joe not only became a big brother himself, he was a vital member of the Big Brothers Big Sisters board. And now his daughter, Krista, is following in her dad's footsteps. She recently became a big sister, and I got to tell you, her dad couldn't be more proud of her. So this is a great tradition that I have seen firsthand the immense difference being a big brother, a big sister can make in someone's life. Joe and now his daughter Krista. My husband Thad was a big brother. I have good friends, Mark Murray, the
Yeah.
meteorologist, and his wife were big parents to a young man, and I've watched him flourish throughout his life. And so I just am a big believer in the power of having positive role models. So thanks,
Mhm.
Joe, and now Krista, for giving of your time and talent and love through Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Didn't you love their smiles?
I know, they look so happy. She surprised him on Father's Day and told him she was going to be a big sister.
Oh,
What a great
what
Dad's Day gift, right?
what a gift, that is for sure. Well, we celebrate them today and all the people at Big Brothers Big Sisters who are being those role models in people's lives, that's for sure. let's talk about our good news neighbor, because that's pretty
Yes.
cool. We have a fantastic good news neighbor today. He is Corey Tabor, and he is the founder of Triple I Coaching in Austin. The mission of that organization, the three I's, is to inform, instruct, and inspire people to fulfill their purpose. He calls himself a purpose partner. And I
I
love
love
that
it.
title. He went to the University of Texas, grew up, and he has been in ministry now in the area for more than 20 years. He planted a church up north of Austin and he's involved in a student ministry on the University of Texas campus to this day. And we were very honored to spend some time with Corey recently on his podcast. It's called What's Good Austin, and it has sort of the similar mission that
Yes.
ATX Good News has in
That
terms of
sounds
just
familiar.
highlighting the good. Yeah.
And Corey contacted us, Leslie. We want to tell everybody when we first announced we were
Yeah.
doing ATX Good News about 6 weeks ago, Corey said, "Hey, I've got this show. We need to help cross promote and spread goodness everywhere." So
I
that's how
love
we
it.
got connected with Corey.
I love it. And Corey told us a story about an educator in his life that made a big difference too. So we want you to meet our good news neighbor, Corey Tabor.
In the fifth grade, I had a teacher named Mrs. Moutre. She broke her hip setting up her classroom for the beginning of the year and was out the entire first semester. Our academics suffered, our athletics suffered, our attitudes suffered. But when she came back the second semester, the atmosphere changed. We saw an increase in academics. We saw an increase in our attitudes. We saw an increase in our athletic ability in intramurals. In that semester, she invited me to go to a leadership camp at Hardin-Simmons University, and she was the first person outside of my family that told me I was a leader. And I believe that everything I've done, from being student body president in high school to being elected student government representative at UT, to leading Intervisions Gospel Choir, planting Full Life Community Church, and leading Triple I Coaching today, started because of one educator. So I know it's hard for educators right now, but I want to challenge you to know that the people you're investing in are the future of our city, the future of our state, the future of our nation, and the future of our world.
Makes me all teary-eyed.
I know it.
It's so heartfelt. And just one teacher made all the difference in his life. And sometimes we forget that one teacher, that one
Yeah.
person can make such a huge difference.
So we celebrate not only Corey as our good news neighbor and all he has done for our community, but also Mrs. Moutre, who we don't know, but she made such a huge influence in his life that we are celebrating her as well. So thank you and congratulations, Corey, our good news neighbor of the week.
Yeah, we love that connection with Corey. I think that people also underestimate the influence that people who may not be a teacher, but just on the staff or volunteering
Yeah.
or have influence on our kids every day. And one of those people is the school crossing guard. I have great memories of relationship with school crossing guards, and they made me laugh, or just
Oh, yeah.
always knew that they were there for you. And it is a very protecting, loving role. We want you to meet the school crossing guard at Hill Elementary that some Hill parents told us about. His name is Rick Waters, and he's just beloved, and he's really considered a hero by many of the students and parents. And this story about him will tell you why that hero role is so apt for him. He cares deeply, but he was hit by a car and assaulted by the driver while he was on duty at Hill Elementary recently. Thankfully, Rick Waters is a Navy veteran. He relied on his military training to defend himself, so his injuries weren't too serious. His assailant ran away. He was taken to the hospital, but he was released. And guess what? He was back on the job the very next day. He told AISD that it was a matter of honor. Everyone told me not to go back to work, but I didn't want him, the assailant, to win. The final part of the story that I really love is that the parents told me that they heard that Rick was sore, because of his injuries that he endured during that scuffle with his assailant. So the parents and kids chipped in and bought him a massage to help rub out some of that soreness. And they made a donation to the disabled veterans group that he supports. And he's a Navy veteran, and they thought that was a great way to pay tribute to him. So you don't think that much about somebody like the school crossing guard making a positive difference in your kids' lives, but they do every single day.
They do, providing that safety, that structure. I remember the ladies in the lunchroom, and
Yes,
always
right, the lunchroom monitors. Yeah.
every day, and the people serving in that lunchroom
Yeah.
line, and those people who were there on a consistent basis that I knew I could count on.
Yeah.
So we celebrate all of those
Yeah.
people being role models and mentors.
And the great thing, Leslie, about all of these stories that we want to point out is they came to us through everyday viewers just saying, hey, we
Yeah.
have a good news story for you. And we depend on you guys are our eyes and ears in the community, seeing human kindness in action. So don't forget that we want to hear from you. atxgoodnews@gmail.com. Send us a comment on our Facebook page. Send us a private message on Facebook. However you want to tell us, give us a call. However you want to let us know about a story. We found out about them so many different ways, but
Yeah.
we just love hearing the good news happening in our community. And we so enjoy sharing it with all of you every day.
And a reminder that it could be a story about a group doing something, or a person like Rick who did something extraordinary and showed that resilience for to be a role model for the kids. But it could be just you noticing something, even if it's someone you don't know, doing something good for someone else. Snap a photo, take a picture, take some video on your iPhone and send it to us, because we'd love to highlight just the everyday unsung heroes out there.
You bet that the human acts of human kindness that we all forget are out there all around us, and we need to celebrate, especially now. Okay, so we want everybody to go out and make it a fun weekend. Try to find some joy, do something that brings you joy. One of the things I'm doing, Leslie, is I'm doing two things actually. They're going to be a lot of fun. One is I'm judging the rodeo's Bloody Mary making contest. Somebody's got to do it. And I'm going to the final basketball game in the Irwin Center. It's the women's basketball game. I know a lot of folks went to the men's basketball game, but I've always supported the women's team. Used to be called the Lady Longhorns. They have a really good team this year, and they're playing Oklahoma State on Saturday afternoon, and I'll be there for that very last game. So I know that will bring me a lot of joy. How about you, Leslie?
Oh, yeah. Basketball and Bloody Marys. There you go. Have fun, Judy. That's going to be super fun. Well, I am, I feel like a broken record, but I'm headed off again to another dance competition with my daughter. This is down in Houston, and we're going to have a lot of good fun. I think the rodeo is going on in Houston too. I may have to check out the rodeo while I'm down there, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And then I hope to come back and get some rest at the end of the weekend if possible, and head into the next week. So it is, there are always some things that we have to do and get done on the weekends, but it's really a good reminder to go and find something fun, a little bit of good news going on in your life, and sit in it and appreciate it on the weekend. So we hope all of you will go do the same thing.
We sure do. And don't forget to tell us about it. Don't forget to tell us about the good news happening, atxgoodnews@gmail.com. Thanks so much for spending a little bit of your lunch hour with us. We appreciate all of you, and make it a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.